What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. I am Cynthia Conte, one of your hosts.
And I am Jeandra, LeBeauf, your other host. And it's still my birthday.
It is
the whole month. We're celebrating the whole month. So no matter when you see this episode, it's still my birthday.
It's still her birthday. Anything in May is still her birthday.
Period.
So send her Cash Apps, her Amazon gift wish list. We got it all. Yeah,
here.
Put all your stuff there.
Right there.
But well, today we had such a really good interview. We're gonna recap one of the interviews that we had with Nico Ali Walsh, Muhammad Ali's grandson, who is also a professional boxer under Top Rank banner. And what a little treat he was. Wholesome boy.
Is he Muhammad Ali's grandson?
He is.
He is. We have confirmed that he is, in fact, his grandson. But he was a lot of fun, super intelligent, very intuitive, creative, and quirky.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like the fact that when, he also just graduated at UNLV in business and entrepreneurship, but the fact that he always and will still be, after once boxing is done, is to become a film director. And the fact that you two have the love of like certain films, minus the scary ones. But it was interesting that I saw the light in his eyes when he talks about it. That's when you know someone's very, very passionate about something that they do.
Super passionate.
But yeah, we're going to have him on and with his godfather, Flavor Flav!
Flavor Flav!
I'm putting that out in the boxing gods right now.
Yeah, I want to do that too. No, he was really fun. He was really cool, really cute, down to earth. And, interesting. I still feel like it's like the beginnings of like a villain origin story.
Yeah.
Because he's a boxer and he's got this degree in business. And maybe he wants to right the wrongs because, his grandpa had to sue Don King behind some money.
That was a great question you asked about Don King, and he even complimented you saying that's a really good question.
Because I don't think I was just curious. Nobody really asked him about that. I'm like, Don King, at least, so much of his lineage is attached to Muhammad Ali. He had to have at least, jumped in the DMs and was like, hey, want to make some more history or something?
Right?
So.
It's like, I wonder, honestly, you never know. He'd be like, you don't have to sign with Bob Arum. Like, why don't you come over to me?
Only in America.
Only in America, waving the flags. Okay, why? Okay, first of all, why are you drinking Coca-Cola?
I mean, it's a chaser.
It's her birthday.
It's my birthday. It's my birthday.
I should have brought lighters. I should have been like your bottle girl.
Oh,
Travis would have been the bottle boy. Actually,
I would have done it. I would have absolutely done it.
Woo! In Europe, that's all guys. There's no bottle girls. It's all bottle boys.
Oh my! Oh, that's kind of cute. I like that. I'm into that.
Since our next week, Travis, get ready, get Buff and Bob. We're gonna start dancing. Woo!
That's amazing. I'm with it.
Okay. The one person I'm dying to get on this show, and I'm reading her book right now, is Ramla Ali, and I know you met her and her coach, Richard. And how were they?
Lovely. She was just so sweet. I was expecting a really more reserved type of...
I was expecting that maybe.
Like very queenly, like, yes, nice to meet you. But she was really cute and really quirky and funny and lots of energy and sweet and interesting. And her coach was super cool. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having them on sometime.
I know. I mean, I'm in the middle of her book. It is an incredible book.
They were hype about that.
Oh, really?
I told her, I'm like, oh, Cynthia's halfway through your book. And she was crying. She was like, really?
I know.
She was super hype.
So good. Her story is incredible. I'm telling you, the first chapter, I think maybe just even the very, very beginning, is it called the epilogue or prologue or something? I was like, wow. Whoa. And she's so young to even go through all of the things that she's gone through. I'm only seriously halfway through the book. And it's weird because every chapter is like 10 steps to becoming a champion of your life. And it was just kind of like everything's boxing related, and then everything goes into the real story of her life. You're like, oh shit, yeah. I didn't realize she went through this, and now to see where she's at right now. So I'm really excited to see to get to the end of the book to see how this all really, really happened. But amazing. It's a brave, courageous story for her to even tell, for people to read. But I can't wait. And so now we got someone in the studio that's just sitting there smiling. I've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. Michelle Corrales from Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. Woo!
Thank you.
Why are you so shy over there?
You're cute.
Oh, I'm not shy at all.
I love the outfit. Can we get this? Is this made or for you, or is this merch?
It's not merch yet, but we can make it merch. Anything's possible.
Anything and everything is possible.
We're going to
That's
put it
right.
out in the energy. We want some company to sponsor the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, and not only sponsor the event, sponsor the creation of this merch so that the wives of fighters can get their cute shirt too, and
Absolutely.
show support to the Hall of Fame.
It is great. It is. I mean, I'm not biased. Maybe I am because I've worked in Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. I was a host 2 years ago before pandemic with Al Bernstein. And I really got to see firsthand what goes into it, how you guys go through all of the inductees, the work that you go through every day. It's stressful. It's a lot of work. It's just not like, it's like when you watch the Oscars or Emmys. Okay, yeah, they parade in these beautiful gowns, but you all don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Everyone's having a mental breakdown.
Absolutely. Sleepless nights. Definitely
nights.
Sleepless nights. It's one of those weekends that come together, and when it's all done, you just exhale. But you don't even take a moment to breathe when it's going, because it means so much not to miss a beat or to make everything perfect for each and every inductee, that because you just don't want to fail. So you just sit there and you just work countless hours behind the scenes, and you try to think of every detail to make it that much more epic and memorable for each and every inductee or their family.
Who's the last fighter that told you thank you? Because this is such a intense ceremony to coordinate the people, all the logistical things. How often do people even call you just to say thank you for carrying the mantle for them?
Well, that's very rare. I will say that there's a lot of thank yous when they're there, because being the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame and being, in here in Las Vegas, everyone knows Canastota International. But, we are now, making we've made our mark. We have our brand. So I think that some of the legends don't exactly know what to expect. And then when they're here, it's the tears flowing like Marvin Hagler. It's the, oh my gosh, I had no idea, like the Lennox Lewis. Sugar Ray Leonard to stand on our stage and say that there's two places he enjoy and look forward to every summer, and that's going to Hawaii with his lovely wife and coming to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. So those are my thank yous, so they're inadvertently, and they don't happen after the fact, but because they happened there, I know it meant something, and it was genuine because it was in the moment.
This is the 10th year, the 10th anniversary?
It's the 10th anniversary.
Is this 10th anniversary excluding pandemic? I'm not sure.
It's including. Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Can you, I know that everything shut down, and I saw what you guys were doing. Were you guys going to put it on? It was obviously, I think last year you guys possibly were going to put it on, but it was just too dangerous because of COVID. What was it like? But telling all of them, sorry, it's canceled. How was that? Putting something this big on to just say, I'm sorry, we can't do it.
It was painful. Literally, everything shut down right after the announcement. The same week we announced is literally when everything was shut down in March. And it was deflating because we was kind of like, are we going to go? Is it everything unclear? Because at first in March, you kind of thought, well, by August, we should be okay, right? It should be back. No one knew the magnitude of the pandemic when it all happened, so at that point, and then of course everything else started canceling, and it just kept getting longer and longer, and it was just inevitable that we had to wait because there was no lead, there was no marketing, there was nothing we could do, and the event's just so huge and it's so important to do it right that you don't want to throw it together. You want to give the event the proper respect and time that it takes to really put on an epic event, because we didn't want to throw anything rushed. I had offers of just go virtual and do it. It's not the same.
No, it's
the
not.
energy, the fans come out, we put on the 4 events in those 2 days. Think about, you have your fan experience and your expo. We do the amateur show, high-end cocktail party, and then the gala. How can you do that and deliver that type of energy virtually?
Especially like if it's a fan friendly, like those are when the fighters come out and the fans come out, it takes away from the fan experience, because that's like the one time that I can meet so-and-so and just like be hand in hand, just ask them a question and like shake their hand and get their autograph. Yeah. So that's
or the amateurs. When we get the amateurs
are great.
Yeah, and then imagine this. here you're 9, 10, 11 years
Yeah.
old, and then you have a Bernard Hopkins coming in the ring to announce or hold your hand up that you're the winner. I mean,
Yeah.
you're fighting in front of these legends that you idolized when you got into the sport. So that's something we deliver that it's actually I would just say it's a priceless experience.
Can you walk us through what that time would be like? Because everyone just assumes the Hall of Fame is always there. And during these times of COVID, keeping it from folding, and there's expenses, real expenses that go into keeping an organization alive. So what were those 2 years like for all of you as you waited to see, you know, what's going to happen?
Let's just say we're resurrecting ourselves like this, but it's personal. It's personal investment. It's because there's no one just rolling out to make sure you stay around. There's no one saying, hey, you know, what do you need? Because they look at you as you're the gala. They don't look at the fact that we're out here, boots on the ground, trying to do events in the community that we still would offer, you know, or having epic just knockout diabetes, you know, anything we can do to support Cure for the Kids Cancer, or being a part of races, or, you know, we would normally do a lot, and we were just totally non-existent. And then up until our announcement, May 6th, it's kind of like you don't really realize, oh, they're back, you know, oh, they last, you know, but we had to just keep positive, keep the faith, claim our success before it ever even gets started, because we won't, you know, accept failure as an option, you know, or defeat, so to speak. You know, it's kind of like a fighter. You keep getting knocked down, but you don't get knocked out, right?
Yeah.
You just keep getting back up and keep pushing along and doing it because you know what it means to you in your heart.
What's the most difficult part of selecting who goes into a class? Because there's some fighters where they're just like, it's Floyd. I mean, you know, that's an easy one. But when you have to round out the class, what is the process like of selecting a class? Because there's so many talented fighters, and there's always going to be hurt feelings like, why wasn't I in this class? And it's just, so what is that process like for you?
It's very hard. I mean, there's an entire voting panel, and our board. This year we opened it up to past inductees because, you know, I think it's really nice to have your peers a part of who do they feel is worthy, you know. And so we try to look at things with a different approach. But every year there's always the phone calls I get, why didn't I go in? Because everybody who got in that ring and who fought and championed, former champion, they're all worthy. They all came and put their heart into this sport, and they deserve to be honored and recognized for that. And as long as we're around, we promise to get to them. We just keep adding them. I mean, our ballot is very long, but when you talk about, let's go back to even 2021. 2021, being that it was a pandemic year, and you'll notice our two inductees, right? Floyd Mayweather and Roy. Both of those were actually chosen to be our 2020. But when I reached out to each of their camps and their management and their teams, they both were in negotiations to fight. So it was like, well, if they're not retired and they're going to still fight.
Wait, Roy Jones Jr. was in the possibility of
for
fighting?
Well, yeah, I was told. Again, this was back, again, pre-pandemic. So when they were going to be inducted for 2020, it was kind of like, no, they're talking about fighting. And then, of course, with the pandemic and everything, then all of a sudden exhibitions came about. No one's gotten in the ring. So it was very easy for us as a panel to decide the two legends that were up for induction that had been retired their 2 years, that were voted in for 2020. But basically, we were advised to wait. They're the two. I mean, it's an iconic. It was a pandemic year. They're both legendary fighters. They both would have been a part of 2020. So that's it. That's our entire 2021. So that was kind of a no-brainer. 2022, it's back to the ballot. It's like, let's go in here, guys. Let's look at the fights. How many fights did they have here? I mean, it's a process, you know, because how many fights did they perform in the state of Nevada, being that we're in Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame? What did they do in Vegas? How did they contribute to the sport of boxing in Vegas if they're a non-fighter? And so we have to now sit here and analyze that. And there's so many worthy candidates. So many.
Of course,
It's countless.
Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What is it? What they call it here? Not the Mecca box. That's New York. What is
Fight
it?
capital of the world.
Fight capital of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, before even all of this started, Rich Murata was the one that created this. How did you get on board?
I actually got started with Rich when sorry guys, was the founder, and then in 2013 was their annual inaugural induction, and he inducted Diego.
Yeah.
And so when he inducted Diego, I actually came, and it was one of the first events that I had gone to, after losing him and years later, and remarrying and just kind of away from boxing because it still was very painful. But when I went, it was just so welcoming. It's a family. It's like all of these people that I were around, and they had become like brothers to me, and extensions of our family were just right there welcoming. And it made me feel like, wow, what can I contribute to this? I felt like what Rich was doing was wonderful. It was definitely needed, because I feel like a lot of the champions, they're just not honored as much as they should be. They're not recognized as much as I think they need to be. Mm-hmm. So I was, how do I get involved? Sign me up. I'm here to help. And so immediately I was just there to help. And by 2014, it was on. It was on and popping. So
wow.
Yeah. I love your commitment. It's truly a passion project. And you are remarried now.
I am.
Is that ever an issue? Because I look at say Jada Pinkett Smith, how people give her grief for talking about Tupac all the time.
Right.
And that was part of her past. So please tell me, we're going to put your camera on. Tell me about your wonderful husband who gets to bear witness to you investing so heavily in this time to something connected to a previous relationship.
He's wonderful. He's one of the most supportive husbands that you can ever imagine, because he's not in competition with the past. He's not here to discredit or to invalidate how important Diego was and the fact of what Diego did for boxing. He's a warrior. He sits with our son, Diego Jr., and he shows him his dad's fights, And of course, my husband is a big boxing fan too, so it helps that he recognized that what we're doing is needed. It's necessary. It's a lot of time from the family, and I think that there's some times when it gets a little challenging when he sees me stressing, on a business of passion and dedication. But of course, anything that's worth doing is worth doing, right? So it's hard work and dedication, and really, I just thank him. I thank him for his support. He knows what it takes to make this a success, and he's there, and he's actually my backbone.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I just like that you're talking about that, because we can all commiserate. We were talking about pre-show like this weekend. Cynthia and I did some stuff together, but you have your family, your baby, and what's the journey like for you? Even now, the baby's getting a little older, but it's even more difficult almost now.
Yeah, time management is hard. It's because for all of us, being a mother is our very first job, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And so I feel guilty sometimes, because I'm like, okay, I still have to work, because I'm building a brand, I'm building a business. Mm-hmm. But then I always think, my son will understand what I'm doing. And I know everyone goes through, every kind of mother goes through the same emotion I'm going through when you go back to work after maternity leave. So, and it's just, it's really difficult. And, but I think at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing is the right thing. And for him, he'll understand when he gets older. It's like, oh, mommy wasn't around. I mean, I'm around, but I have to really juggle. I have to, you become a master of all trades. I don't know how, but I always say this, women are superheroes.
We are. I mean, just the cogs that make the machine go.
Yeah.
And people don't think about that. You and Rich are over there, but you're doing so much of this work, and this is work that you are not being compensated for.
Yeah.
It's work you're not being compensated. You still go to work.
I do. I actually work for a local builder. I'm a licensed real estate agent and have been for over 20 years. So
buy a house.
There you go. Well, unless you're selling a house, it's the time to sell.
It is. It's a seller's market.
Yeah. But and it's weird that a lot of people don't realize this, that they think all of the Hall of Fames there's a lot of money. Like, people think that because it's boxing, people make a lot of money in their purses. But no, there isn't. People put in their time. Time is money. Your time is what's paying the bills here. Mm-hmm. And people, there's a Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame museum that used to be, it was off the strip, and now it's no longer there. It's now virtual, and it's so sad because that museum is so cool. It really, really is a cool place, and I really hope that you find a home for it soon.
So do I. I hope so. We're working on it. Every day we're open. We definitely we're We're entertaining it. We'd love to have another presence. I get phone calls still to this day. Hey, I'm coming to Vegas. Where are you located? I want to come in. Because, it was an experience. So
It
we
really
had the
was.
boxing ring in there, heavy bags, speed bags, and plus the memorabilia.
Yeah.
And then the events that we were able to do. Come out and meet, when we would sit there and have Barrera, or Eric Morales, or, Mikey, or so any of those guys sitting there with their fans on any given Sunday. And you're like, wow, I came to Las Vegas. I came to this Hall of Fame. I was able to put on a robe and some gloves, and I had a ball. It's again, we were making memories, and I look forward to that.
During
real
the
soon.
gala, are you going to be able to put some of the museum stuff out in like a museum style form in the room?
We did that once before at Caesar's Palace, and we're entertaining that again, just to have a pop-up museum
I think
so that
you
we
should,
can honor the history.
since it's really cool. I mean, because you think, okay, you get to see a bunch of stuff, but no, it really is. Because when you go to a museum, you get really fascinated by things. You're like, oh my God, so and so wore those gloves, or like something, or you remember that particular fight, and you see all the blood on it still, or just it's fascinating. And then the ring, the heavy bags. I loved it. I had such a good time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
glad.
fun.
Well,
We'll have
we're
another
we're manifestors here. So what is the ideal? If you could design the ideal space for the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, what would that look like to you? What do you think would really best serve the hall, like in terms of space, or what would your needs be?
Ooh, I would say, because I've always been one to say I can make anything work. We're women, right? And we're moms. So it's kind of like you
Exactly.
give me 1,000 square feet, if you give me 10,000 square feet, and I'm going to feel it. So
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes, right? So that's how I feel, really. But I would like a space to where we can truly entertain, to where we can maybe even have, snack bar type snacks for the kids, some type of beverages, something that we can do. We can do amateur shows, so we would definitely need our ring. We want to make an experience. I love those boxing games when you see the hardest punch and you see Clarissa Shields up there and she's hitting that. I think that it should be all about the experience.
Yeah.
The memories are there. Like, I love the fact that we had Mills Lane belt that he had sent someone away, and this guy carved him this leather belt, and they sent it to Mills, and we had that in our museum.
Wow.
That was donated by the family, the Mills family, and the Lane family, sorry. And those types of things, they're so cool. But then when you can take it a step beyond that and then have that one-on-one experience, or you're sitting there with a Shane Mosley or a Floyd Mayweather, and they're showing you how to hold your hands, or how to jab, or, how to feint, or the shoulder roll if you're Floyd. I mean, and who could not walk away from that with the memorable experience
Absolutely.
of visiting Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world, having a museum? It's kind of, I have a sizzle reel, and when Mike was on stage in 2013, he talks about the fact that we should have a Hall of Fame here. This is the fight capital of the world. The sidewalks don't roll up. It's a party town. All the iconic fights happen here. This is your legendary, the backdrop. So people want to see that, and we should be able to deliver that. And we know that they're hungry for it. Look at all the fans that come in town for our iconic fights. So now we just sit here and give them one more reason to take that flight from overseas to come here, because now you're going to have an experience. You're going to get a boxing show. You're going to get the weigh-ins. You're going to have the grand arrivals. Like, I miss those. You ever miss those?
Those are so
I
fun.
miss the grand arrivals. Like, Caesar's Palace, and they would have
The
Caesar.
showgirls,
Oh my
everything.
goodness. So that's what our events have. That's why I'm so big on making sure I have showgirls on our red carpet.
All
It's
the
like,
time. There,
I
it's
have to
so
pay- yeah.
it's so iconic to see that. I remember during the red carpet, I'm like, oh my God, there's these girls. I mean, I love it. I'm like, can I hold your feathers? It was so cool. I'm like, when you see showgirls, it's Vegas.
Right.
Viva Las Vegas. There's nothing like, you don't see that at the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
For
Sorry, you just don't. But
Not happening.
yeah.
How come? I've always wondered, why aren't there fights anymore at Caesar's Palace?
Well, I think because they got rid of their event center, and they just went into a different direction with all the owners and the change of hands, and
That was a
things of that.
great place.
Yeah.
The outdoor arena.
But then, MGM came along and started knocking them out the box, and now we have Resort World coming along, and maybe, who knows, they'll be able to
pretty
make
nice
their
over there,
statement.
too.
It's
Yeah.
nice. It's a beautiful venue.
Beautiful.
I'm so excited. Our amateur show this year is actually going to be right out in the middle of their district, in their shopping area.
Wow.
Really?
Everybody's going to be able to watch the kids. If you just happen to be there having lunch, guess what? You're going to get a nice...
Is it right by the big globe?
It's right down the hall from the Globe,
By
right
Mike
outside of
Tyson?
Red Tail, right in front of the Mike Tyson statue.
okay.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's where the
yeah.
event was the other night.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Right in front of Red Tail. We're going to have the boxing ring there, and we're just going to have the amateurs going at it, and we'll have the legends there. And I'm looking forward to this year, actually, guys. It's actually been the hiatus may be a good thing, because now we're able to
it's
just
good.
come back and just just blow everyone's mind and just knock their socks off. when
Yeah,
we
but
put-
it was good because it gives you time all 2 years to plan.
yeah.
We work in this, girl.
Yeah, right.
Oh, do you still get starstruck? I'm just listening, just how casually Mike Tyson,
Bernard Hopkins.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, like,
is there anyone who can still get you starstruck at this point?
or is there a fighter? Yeah, if
Because
not,
I'm freezing.
is there
I'm
a
freezing
fighter?
on Mike. I'm telling you right now. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm telling. Can you? We asked Nico Ali Walsh, Mike, can you put in a good word for us? So Michelle, can you put in a good word for us for Mike to interview?
We trying to kick
We
it.
trying to interview with him.
Well, to answer the first question, let's see. I mean, I'd love to put in a good word for you guys, but again, I've been off for 2 years. I've got to now say, hey, does this number still work for this person?
Right.
Is this email still active? It's like I'm trying to get back in the groove as well. But no, I guess because being in that realm and being, well, when I was married to Diego and it was still a family. So I didn't really get starstruck when I see anyone, because I guess I respect the journey, and it's their job, and I'm around the music industry with my husband. So it's like, I really don't get starstruck, the kids were just at the legend, what do they call that concert that just left here, the really big one?
Lovers and Friends.
Lovers
Yeah.
and Friends. So my husband's artist performed at Lovers and Friends. And so kids are,
which artist?
he manages Lloyd.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Get
okay.
it, shorty.
Get it. I was just listening to that song.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So he manages Lloyd, but my kids are on there and they're taking pictures with Usher and Khalees and all my husband's friends. But it's like, I never
dope.
really, I never
It's
get
just your world.
starstruck because it's
But I mean, is there a fighter that you would go gaga for? Like, oh my God, there has to be some fighter out there.
no, not a fighter that not because again, they're all human. I
That's
love them
true.
all. I'm so just non-biased, and I know everyone has a story,
Yeah.
and everyone has a life, and there's a wife there, and there's kids there, and there's the promoter problems and the marketing problems and the network problems, and I guess I just look at all of that and know that how can I be a part of helping anything get better? That's I guess what I look at. And then the fighters that are legends that are gone, like, I thought it was incredible that we got Marvin Hagler to come over here. He had
Yeah.
not been back in the States since that fight. And so for
Wow.
us to have Marvin, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Richard Steele in the middle saying this is how it should have been, like if you ever see when they did the 30-year, that photo was taken at one of our events. So
Wow.
those are the things, a lot of people don't know the magic that's behind the scenes at the events that happen. But I guess when you look at those things, I guess I'm more amazed and awe over what we're able to accomplish than I am over the person, because it was funny. He was probably one of our most difficult. I'll say that. May he rest in peace. We got a full contract on what we weren't allowed to do, what we weren't allowed to ask him
Oh,
for,
wow.
the whole 9 yards.
Sheesh.
And when he got here,
He was
it
like,
was
whatever.
so totally different. He brought his belt to put on display in the museum because a lot of times that's what we would do.
Yeah.
We would, and then we have to hire, of course, security to watch everything 24/7 because we would hate for anything to happen. But he was so into it, and then he had his mom, and he was so excited, and he was like, "I hate that I haven't been back sooner." I mean, those are the things. But I mean, there's a lot of fighters that I admire and that I really love and I really respect. I mean, even though Diego and Floyd fought many years ago, there's still never any love lost. There's so
Yeah.
much respect. I see him and I love what he's done with the sport. I look at Diego's team, like I look at Shakira Stevenson. It's funny how, I see all these little milestones happen and I'm looking at the same team that was making those moves with Diego, like when it's Jay Prince and Antonio Leonard, and I'm looking at Jack, and then I look at Ricky with Tin Goose, and I'm like, wow, I remember when, he was just working with Diego and Joe Goosen. So it's like, I guess I'm in more awe of everyone that is still here working in this sport and that have excelled in this sport, and now I'm seeing so openly accepted. I think that makes me feel really good and really humble. You know, like, wow, there's, and then it says, there's hope. Maybe one day the Hall of Fame will get that support. You know, I'm looking at all these success stories, right? And I'm like, there's still a chance.
There is.
Yeah.
So now that we have a reboom of women in boxing, what does that mean to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame? I mean, they're all young. Well, there's some that are more on the fall of their career than others, but there's lots of women who are fighting. So what does that look like for the future?
Well, you know, we always induct
Right,
we have
yeah,
our
for
women.
sure.
Yeah, like Mia's going in this year, and
Right.
and we honor them. But you got to think we had Lucia Riker and Christy Martin. I mean, we look forward to it because women boxing is definitely something that's it's getting some support now that it should have gotten many, many years ago. And so we're happy to see it, but we're always here to honor our girls. I mean, our women in boxing they pack a punch too,
Oh,
you
yes,
know,
they do.
and
Yes,
we work
ma'am.
so hard in boxing and media and like yourselves and, you know, just the publicists and, you know, the Kelly Swansons of the world. I mean, there's been women in boxing grinding and grinding and grinding, you know, and it's just like, it comes a time when we all have to have sharing those flowers. And if we don't take the time to honor what someone else is doing, like look at, you know, Raging Babe herself, you know, Michelle Rosado, and you have like, you know, Nicole, who's running Mayweather Promotions. You know, it's like, man, there's some women that making big power moves, or Brittany over at TGB.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some women out here that's really running things behind the scenes
For sure.
that definitely deserve some recognition, and they potential ballotees, I think.
I think so.
We're going to be your first podcast inductee.
There you go.
Right? I mean, the world is chinging. It's changing.
Putting it out in
So,
the universe.
Yeah,
That's right.
because we film here, so we're already eligible.
Exactly. I love it. I love it.
We're eligible.
Yeah,
Yay.
you're eligible. Yeah.
Oh my God, Michelle, it's, you know, I'm just looking at the class that you have. You know, it's just a couple people, Roy Jones Jr. and Floyd Mayweather for 2021, Kennedy McKinney, Vince Phillips, Iran Barkley, Ray Mercer, Mia St. John, Israel Vasquez, Michael Nunn, Hector Camacho, Bob Foster, Gary Shaw, and Jerry Eisenberg. That's just, wow. You know, a lot of people don't know some of these people. Many do, but they've all done something so incredibly great in our sport. I want to know, like, you know, when you talked about how do you guys go in and talk about the inductees, do you guys like sit at a table and like fight it out and say, well, no, this person has this and the accolades or this, like, do you guys really fight?
We have had some pretty heated debates.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's gotten. We used to we would have a board meeting and we would have our ballots and we would do our voting, and then it would turn into a 3-hour event, you know, of going back and forth. You would always cast your vote privately, you know, just out of respect for everyone,
Yeah.
you know, and then there would always be the debate. And then if there's a tie, then there's the person speaking up on why they feel this one or the, you know, it was pretty, it gets intense. So what we did this year is I decided to do all secret ballots. I didn't want to have that room full of arguing. I said, I just want everyone to give their opinions and see where it fare out. And let's do this, but because I'm always looking at ways to change it up, right? We have to keep it innovative. Look at, you know, the podcast, the way we do media now. It's on cell phones. You know, social media. Let's just do things a little different. So I thought the same way. I invited previous inductees to be a part of the voting. Our board, you know, different ones. Our key board members, of course, still had their vote. And then I was like, let's see what happens. And you know what? The class changed drastically. There were
Really?
people that may have missed a year or so ago that you thought would be a shoo-in, and it just totally shift. It's like, whoa, sometimes the class you end up with is like, it's what it is. I mean, they're all worthy. So again, I'm totally neutral and non-biased. So come on, whatever the class is, the way the vote fare out, that's what we support. And don't forget our 2020 class too, because it's epic. So they're all going in August 27th at Resorts World. They're all going in. I'm talking the whole
shebang.
The whole
Let me
shebang.
see.
Andre
Let me
Ward
get
and
Andre
Cotto.
Ward. Yeah, Cotto. Oh, yeah. I was just looking at that. Yeah, that's
Castillo.
Mark Too Sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a good night. That's going to be a really good night.
I get to bring
It's a lot of
Castillo
royalty.
back.
Oh yeah. So Jose, for everyone, it's Clarence Bones Adams, Fernando El Feroz, Bart Vargas, Jose Luis Castillo, Miguel Cotto, Julian the Hog Jackson, Mark Too Sharp Johnson, Danny Lopez, Azuma, the Professor Nelson, James Lights Out Tony, Andre, Son of God Ward, and then the non-boxing inductees for the people. Lorenzo Fertita, Samuel Macias, Carlos Padilla, and Jose Sulaiman. So wait, so just everyone comes in with names? Is that how it works? You like say for this class, I mean the next 2023, 2023. The names that didn't get inducted from the previous years, do those all roll over, and then however many board, we all get to add a name to it, and then you guys decipher from there.
We get recommendations all the time. We get people that are
So we could
wanting to
recommend somebody.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. If it's someone, and then what we do is it's vetted by the board, and if it's someone that we said, you know what, they're right, because of course, no one's has a magic eye. There could be someone that's definitely worthy out there that we're overlooking or appear to be overlooking. So for that, we allow even fans, or I allow other people in the boxing sport to sit there and write. They can email us and say, hey, are you thinking about this person, or have you guys forgotten about this person, or and that means a lot to us too, because we know that you're paying attention. And we know that it may mean something to that inductee, You don't know how many phone calls I got about Kennedy McKinney. It was like, when is he getting inducted? And he would come so close every year, and it was just like, I don't know. And the same thing for like Marvin Campbell. There's some people we just haven't gotten to yet, but they're still just as worthy, and we'll get there. So their names will stay on the ballot, and then we'll continue the new names. Of course, the guys that are retired, and they've been retired for 2 years, of course, they become eligible. So the new names kind of come in sometimes, and it appears to overshadow some of the other ones, but we try to keep it to where we always honor and support and induct legends, because our goal is to give everyone their flowers while they're here. We really want to get to them.
So you're moving to secret ballot. So, you don't have to mention any voters, but which inductee caused the most drama?
Yeah,
the longest discussion.
Sip that tea, girl.
Yeah, we want to know who had it turned up in the discussion group for induction.
We won't tell anyone.
We're not telling
Let me just tell you this. I won't mention any names, but I have literally lost board members after induction votes, to where I've had people so angry about this person getting in over this person, to where they literally have just decided that I don't want to be a part. I don't want to.
Wow.
Which is it's disheartening. It's hurtful, because it's kind of like
so dramatic. My
For
God,
real, you're quitting,
right?
Yeah.
We don't like quitters.
Yeah.
It gets pretty intense, or they'll remove their support altogether because
What?
they don't like an
That's
inductee.
not cool.
Yeah,
That's-
I don't
Whoever
like this
y'all's
person.
are, come on.
It's like, I don't like this person, so I just don't want to be involved. And it's like, you know what? But if that person's still maneuvering and moving in boxing, how can that be a problem? I'm not here to say who's worthy over the
Yeah.
next. If they were voted in, how? And if you support this organization, then how do you quit because you don't like an inductee or two? When I'm sure there's times when you voted for someone and persuade everyone else to vote with you, that maybe there was 2-3 people in the room who didn't agree with that one, but that's the way it went. But it gets that tedious at times.
God,
but
I
it's
wish I
okay.
was a fly on that wall.
Me too, because I am nosy.
With X-rated, what we could see, we could see through all the ballots.
That'd be the making of the hall, a whole different edition.
You know what?
gonna
We
be the
should do
documentary.
that, and then we could how they have those the commentators and we're off. And so-and-so,
Yeah.
And we're going off, and they're fighting right now, and we have 2 votes for. We totally should.
That would be amazing. Like, what sport does it? Not tennis, but like curling or one of those sports where you have to be quiet. And it's like, okay, we've got the vote onto the floor right now. We've
Yeah.
got 2 votes. We are voting on today.
And she threw her
Who's in the
shoe at
teller?
her.
like the World Series of Poker, huh? It's like
Exactly.
that. It's like they had the voting of the hall.
Everyone's holding their vote like at a little camera on the table.
And they have
so
little
everyone can
glasses
see.
on. Right? Their glasses.
You really hear people honest opinion of different people too. It's
Oh,
like,
And I
Yeah.
like that. And this is just boxing. Imagine it's the Oscars, what goes down in those kind of ballots.
oh, I can't imagine.
This is just boxing. Theirs is like
I know that's a mess. Past competitors.
Who's worthy this year? Who's not worthy? Who's worthy but just not yet? This person should come before that person. It gets so intense. And then at the end of the day, they leave you in a class and then they all run. And then it's like my brother and I do it all.
Has there ever been a time when someone's family or estate has ever donated a lot of money and say, if we give you this, will you? Okay, I don't know.
Before you finish that, no one has ever donated a lot of money to the house. Stop. No, they have not. The largest donation that was ever received by Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame was Freddie Roach. He did a documentary, and the benefactor was the hall, and it was in 2013 when Rich founded the hall. When it was the very first year, the inaugural year, he actually used part of those funds to jumpstart the Hall of Fame. Amazing. And that was the largest donation. And now I will tell you, I have fighters that support all the time, buy tables, and that's Floyd, and of course the WBC. You know those. You know, even Sean Porter would buy a table every year. I get that, but there hasn't been another just flat. Here's a big check. You know, here, go run the Hall of Fame. Now, I'm still waiting on that. I'm still kicking in doors and swinging and punching and fighting for that.
Let me pull up BoxRec right now, see who we could call out, who's in the autumn of their career. They can start cutting y'all a check. You know who you are, who is close to retirement. Send the Nevada if you fought here at any point in your career, male or female, cut the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame a check. Run them a check. It's the least, and if you sat in the interviews and said, "Oh, I always used to watch Sugar Ray Leonard or somebody," well, Sugar Ray Leonard fought in Nevada. He's been going into the hall. He's already in.
He's in.
He's already in. Cut the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame a check so that when you retire, there's an organization that wants to recognize you. And we all know who fights in Vegas with regularity. Within the last 10 years. So run them a check.
How much does a table cost? I see your gold tickets are $500. It's not bad. The stuff that it's not overpriced,
and it's a glamorous
really
event.
Yeah. How much does a table cost?
It's a table of 10, so it's $5,000 for a table of 10.
Man, they didn't spend that on drinks for their homeboys.
Yep.
Run the hall a check.
And then there's a $3,500 table of 10, which is the silver table. And everyone in there get a commemorable program. You know, they get to attend the amateur show. You know, the gold ticket gets to attend the experience, the fan experience. So we're always looking for add-ons and things that we can do. So we,
run them to 5. Y'all got it. Run them to 5.
Oh, wow.
Or the big brands that just want to sponsor a champion table. You have to think all of the inductees are guests. So, we cover their costs. We fly them in. We put them in suites. I still have to pay for their trophy, their induction rings. It's a huge event.
The drinks, the venue.
Yeah.
Oh, the rings are so cool. I remember Vinny Paz gave his ring to someone in the audience so he can wear his induction ring when Dana White. That was cool. That was cool. Like Vinny had no idea Dana White was inducting him. Aww. He was hidden, and then Dana White came and sat next to me. I was like, oh, okay. And like Vinny was so oblivious, and when he gets on stage, Vinny looked like he was about to like poop in his pants. He was so excited and just like. He was speechless and we all know Vinny's story. I mean, from him coming back, and but it was cool. He had another ring on. I can't remember, and he's like, whoever wants it. And then there was 2 ladies, and I think she was a fighter. I can't remember who she was, but she gave it, and I remember they gave it after, and she was just like, oh my god, like the thing was massive. I took a picture of it. It's big. It's cool, but it's there's so many great moments that happen during the Hall of Fame, the touching moments, the touching speeches, the speeches that the inductees give. It's incredible just how thankful and how grateful they are to just even be recognized. Yeah. And for people to say, I can't believe people watched my fights. Like I just did what I loved. And for me to even be in my career this long, or to have lasted this long, or to have lived and be all right, health wise. Yeah. So it's a really beautiful moment with everyone, and just to see everyone's personalities and how they all get along. It's fun.
Actually, it's one big party. It's funny. It's like it's a whole homeboy club of champions, and they all fought each other at some point because we love to do rivals. When Mike Tyson inducted Evander and Sugar Ray with Roberto Duran. So it's really fun when you start to see them talk about when they fought each other. Or, like you hear Roy, he's going into the hall this year and he's like, yeah, I fought James, Tony, and I fought, it's like you hear this and it's like, you think, you're like, wow, it's just cool that, they're able to just come together and have a good meal and have a good time and talk about the past,
I remember the Floyd Mayweather before then. I don't know if you saw it. He was dancing. He was grooving. Girl, oh my God. It was like he was on Soul Train. It was so cool.
He was having him a good time.
He was just getting down. And the gala hasn't even started. It's like you go into this room, all the inductees, after the red carpet, and they all kind of settle in, have a cocktail. But they were playing some good old funk, and he's just booging on down. I was like, break it on down, boy. It was cool.
He probably felt so in his element.
Yeah.
Because, there's the persona of Floyd Mayweather that we all see, but these people know for real what it is, what it was, how he got there better than anyone will ever know in his life. So he said he is kicking it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Kind of party.
Yeah. It's really cool. And yeah.
And you're there with your family. So you're enjoying it with your loved ones, like, again, what's better than bringing your mom? I remember when Tommy Hearns was inducted and most of the family were there. I call them now my extended cousins and aunties, It's like, that's epic. I mean, they're just sitting there enjoying this moment, and they're all watching their loved one be honored and recognized for something that they knew that they gave themselves to countless hours, countless days, weeks, especially if it's your children. How many birthdays did you miss? Or how many school events did you not attend because you were in training camp or something like that? And now they're able to enjoy, like Pernell Whitaker's son. He still keeps in touch with the hall to this day,
That's
so it's just things like that we were able to make those memories and recognize their loved one, and they appreciate it.
Sweet people.
That's really sweet. Yeah. Oh, Michelle, well, I can't wait. We can't wait because we're going to be working it. Yep, we're putting it out there.
Yes, I hear you.
August 26th, 27th. I should know because that's right before my birthday, so we can do a pre-birthday celebration.
Yeah, mine
everybody.
too.
Oh shoot. Okay, well, we're all going to buy seats or tables to celebrate these beautiful women's birthdays. So that's how you can honor them this year.
Yeah, and to honor the three classes going in, you guys can go to Nvbhof.com, Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. You'll find the tickets, how you can even sponsor the event. You can look at the class, the inductees, and if you don't even know anything about it, go there and look at the past feature galleries and the gala. It's an incredible event. If you're a boxing fan, or if you know anyone that's a boxing fan and you just want to give them a gift of something, this would be the best gift. You would be forever their favorite person in the world.
and if for no other reason, run them a check because it's the end of the year. You can write it off your taxes.
There you go.
Run them a check.
I just love how she thinks.
I know, yeah.
Get it out there. Get the elephant out the room.
Right? Is there last words for people to come out and attend?
Yeah, that's all I want to say. It's please come out, support the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, support the efforts that we do. Anthony is the vice president of that, and my baby brother. It's like we work countless hours, and my niece Asia. It's like it's a family affair, and we work our tails off to deliver an epic outcome. And literally, the people that have flown from the UK or the people that come over from countless other countries, they want to come every single year. It's just one of those things that you have to come because you're sitting in a restaurant with the legend right by you because it's a boxing takeover.
Yeah.
I mean, we're there. We move into that venue that week of the gala and we're there. We start flying in the legends in, the champs in on Thursday night, and they're all around the hotel.
Yep.
They're there for every event. They're mixing and mingling. It's like one of those things to where even at Caesar's Palace, I have so many guests like, wow, I didn't know. Where's Sugar Ray Leonard going?
Yeah.
Where's Lennox Lewis going? Where are they? I want to be where they are. Well, this is where they are. They're here attending a Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame event, and we want everyone to attend, all the fans. That's what we're here to do. Let's make it an epic year. It's our comeback year. It's our 10th anniversary, and we just want to make it a knockout.
And it's for a great cause, so we can put the museum back, the exhibition, and make it just an experience for everyone to enjoy.
Absolutely. Thank
Well,
you.
Michelle, we're going to put all the information where they can come get it. Any last thoughts for you?
This is exciting. It's a terrific class of talented people. If you're a real boxing fan, come. If it's too expensive to fly here, stay here, and go, run them a check.
Yeah.
Run them a check.
Or hopefully we'll get a great streaming partner. If you
Oh.
can't, that would be great, right? Oh, we
that's
might want to talk about
interesting. Any
streaming.
streamers out there that would like to lend their services?
Yes. Pro bono. Do
Pro
it for the
bono, you
love.
know what? This is for the love of boxing. I know you boxing fans know somebody out there.
I could think of a couple who should step it up and help out.
Absolutely. I think I do too.
You
We know some people.
Step it up.
They got million subscribers at least.
Lots.
Oh, Michelle Corrales-Lewis, thank you for taking the time out to join us on the brown table here at the Best Women's Boxing
is a
Show,
safe
period.
space.
It is.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me. It was an honor. To sit here
No,
and
it was an
talk
honor
about
for
this.
us.
Yeah.
Thank you. For you guys, make sure tune in. Go to the website Nvbhof, .com to find out all the information. And for us, let me read my Twitter stuff. You know what? I should know this by now. Twitter, Best Women's BSP. Instagram, Best Women's Boxing Show. TikTok, Best Women's Boxing Show. And our Instagram, Best Women's Boxing Show. And of course, we are on actual podcasts. So if you can't physically watch us on our YouTube, we are on Google, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. Oh yeah, did I say the Apple? There you go. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that's it. And follow us individually. That
yeah.
is I am Jeandra LeBeauf. Jeandra_LeBeauf.
And
Is that my stuff?
is that your stuff?
Is it not?
It is.
No, it's that on Instagram. Okay, well, whatever. Follow me somewhere.
So yeah, and I'm
follow
Cynthia Conte
Conte.
at The Real Fight Girl. That's my Instagram because I have more followers on there. But I'm pretty active on Twitter.
For sure.
All right. Well, this is another one in the can for us, Jeandra.
Yes, it is.
Till next time. Till in a couple hours.
Okay, till the
We'll
next
see.
one.
Till the next one. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. I am Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
See you guys at the fights. Bye, guys.